kept in that kind of situation, forced labor. You are put into a labor without any alternative. You have no choice. You do so under the threat of punishment or a certain kind of threat or a certain kind of condition that leaves you without a choice to say, I'm opting out. And for a time, and I give you an example where in some of the countries, you find some of our women who travel to those countries. I mean, for example, a woman goes there she's given all the hope that she's going to work as a housemaid with all the attractive conditions. She gets there, the situation is not like that.
Yes.
And this woman remains in the house closed and to be sexually exploited and abused sometimes by the landlord, by the master, either his children or his, Her passport is taken away from her. She has no means to communicate to even law enforcement and so on and so forth. And I have information where some women have been brought to our airport here without any resource, even the money to travel to take taxi to their own homes. They are dumped here and left. And many of them do go without this consciousness. So it's a fact that we are very passionate and emotional about, that no one, no child, no woman, no any human being should be subjected to this kind of treatment because of the vulnerability or the deprivation situation of the person, which in our current, like Reverend said, because of the circumstance, what Ali Mazrui calls the push-out factors. Because of the push-out factors from our countries, our young people are now lured into, I mean, can you imagine when we talk of child factory?
Yes.
I mean, young women who are vital, are taken either through some insemination or through somebody's giving to somebody.
Children.
Exactly, to produce children so that children, when they are born, they are properties for another person that exploits, use them to probably sell their body parts, when it is needed. I mean, that is a terrible thing. To hear that it is prevailing. It's more terrible.
It's unimaginable.
Unimaginable that even the traditional slavery will not do this.
We hear a lot about the exploitations of women and children and even men abroad. Yeah. But locally, when we come to Ghana, what are the forms that modern-day slavery take? We see a lot of young boys in traffic, cleaning windscreens and selling and housemaids and stuff. Are these forms of modern-day slavery?
Yeah, there are forms, but we have also identified one or two of such, where in some communities, because the people are vulnerable, they are poor, they live under very harsh conditions, they sometimes give their children out to other men to be taken to other places for fishing purposes. Yes. And these children come under serious exploitation. They are not they are not even supposed to go into such, but they are forced into it. They are the children who go down the river or the sea to bring out the nets, and sometimes they don't come back.
Yes.
They are dead down there, and nobody wants to even talk about it. This is one kind. And in other places, you have people who have moved into the cities and they are forced into homes where they have no freedom, they have no voice, they have nothing to guide them and to make them make their own choices. But as they were coming, or the people who went for them gave them all the good things about city life. But they come here and they are either in the sex trade or they are forced into homes, and all these things happen. And we think that it is not right. It is not right to find people with dignity and pride being subjected to such issues. And we think that here in Ghana, we have to look at it. Then we also find people who are also moving from home, Ghana, to other places, trekking the Sahel, the Sahara, the desert, and the hardships they go through with all kinds of conditions which are not favorable for human habitation, but they do. They get to the Mediterranean, and you see what happens almost every month or in every quarter of the year. You hear of the boat capsizing and people are dying, they are washed ashore. And we think that these are things which we have to look at and educate people.
How do we juxtapose this with people who willingly put themselves in these situations? Because when we talk about slavery and forced marriages and such, you must be coerced.
Yeah.
You know, you must be forced to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody must take away your freedom somehow.
Yeah.
But we find a lot of young people willingly submitting themselves to do these things.
That's right.
Are we, as part of the Walk Free campaign,
Yes.
do you advocate for people who willingly put themselves in these situations as well?
I think over there, the important thing is those who even go willingly, that their own choice, they think there is a bigger opportunity over there. But what are the laws that guarantees their freedom, that guarantees their safety and protection? Because if these things are not there, then they become vulnerable to the manipulation, exploitation of their masters. I mean, those who facilitated their journey. That's why when they get there, you arrive there, the first thing to do is to take away your passport. Take away your passport. Once you take away your passport, you have no movement again. But then you are subjected. In fact, you really are coerced, and you have to really accept whatever thing you are asked to do. For example, those who lure our young women, these are, we call them the madams. I mean, take the woman there. She doesn't know that that's what she's going to do. You get there, she is the big woman over there. She has all the connections. She takes away your passport. Now you get to know that, oh, this is what you are coming to do. You don't want to do. They punish you. They create fear in you until you now accept to do, and then gradually you become used to, and now you accept it. So originally that was not your intention, but the circumstance under which you have been put. So it's good when we say, yes, we don't want to say people, I mean, migration is part of the exploration of life. So we don't stop people from there. But one, we want that before you travel, we want you to be well educated, understand the condition, the circumstance, and you must also have an idea, the opportunities that are available for you within legitimate framework. That when it's time for you to come home, you're able to come home with your dignity. But any such journeys that reduces you to bondage is something that we say, it is not good.
It has to stop.
It has to stop.
Okay. Let me add to just a little to what
Just a little.
Okay.
All right.
Just a little to what Sheikh has said. Sitting here, we don't say that all migration is bad. Some are legal. That one, we have no troubles with it. But some are illegal. The illegal ones are what will land us into consequences which will take away our pride, our dignity, and the persons God wants us to be. That one, we say that before we undertake such things, we need to explore, find out what is there, what is not there, so that we can. And those who go into this illegal or who are lured or coerced into it, there is a system called the kafala. The kafala system is where your employment is tied to your sponsor. And so whatever you earn goes to your sponsor. And you will not get the money even for yourself. And they will give you just a pittance. And they keep the rest and keep it for themselves. So you come back frustrated, the same as you went. And these are modern day slavery, which we think that it should not continue.
Now, we have a video that we will play, a 9-minute video about the campaign. But before we go and play it, let me just ask you this. Who's this message, the Walk Free campaign message, targeted at? Is it the young people who are traveling, the parents who are giving away their children, to people to use for work, for fishing and so on? Or who's the primary recipient of this message?
But we are targeting everybody.
Everybody. Yes, right.
We are targeting the young people who usually fall victim to these exploitations. In fact, we are targeting state institutions that must ensure that it is their mandate to ensure the safety and the security of citizens and create great opportunities that will make them find comfort and solace in their countries of origin, so that even when they want to travel, you travel more on a more legitimate note and go and come back home with their dignity. We're also targeting traditions and customs that allow some of the customs with great respect for our traditional systems. I mean, we have values that have built us over the period. But some of them that have become outmoded, we respectfully want to say, can we look at it again. And do some change? And what gives me hope is still, I say with great respect to some of our good brothers and sisters in the Volta region, the Trokosi system, for example, was something that we all detested. And when we began talking about it, I think that traditionally something had been done. And you no more hear about it so much. So those are the things that we are, and then targeting parents, so that in the extended family system, you don't go and put your child somewhere.
And then bad things will be done to
happen
them.
To your child.
That's
and
right.
you know, as a parent, I wonder how you can sleep knowing that your child is somewhere, you don't know what's happening to them, you don't know what they're doing, and you don't know if you'll ever see them again. But thank you so much for this campaign. Thank you for the message. It's very important, and it's a good time to advocate for things like this. Today we heard news about some young people traveling to Libya and some very unfortunate things that had happened to them. So, you know, it is a great time. It's the perfect time to have this conversation. Thank you. I'd like us to now watch a video from the Walk Free campaign that sheds more light on this campaign, things you need to know and things you must not do as a young person to protect your own human dignity. Let's take a look.
As some of you may be aware, such crimes as human trafficking, forced marriage, and forced labor exist in our part of the world and around the globe. We call these crimes modern slavery, which means a situation of exploitation that a person cannot refuse or leave because of threats, violence, coercion, abuse of power, and deception. According to the statistics in the Global Slavery Index, there are 50 million people living in modern slavery, of which 27.6 million are in forced labor and 22 million in forced marriage. In Ghana, 91,000 people are living in modern day slavery. Some of the reasons for modern slavery in Africa are discrimination towards migrants and minority cultural and ethnic groups. Other factors such as conflicts, political instability, and poverty also play a vital role in bringing about modern day slavery. Ghana, our beloved country, is one of 3 African countries that have taken action to eradicate modern slavery within its supply chain. Ghana has also taken steps to combat child labor in our supply chain, especially in the cocoa sector. However, there is still a lot of work to be done. We recognize that these crimes are wrong and do not show the value and dignity that every human being has in the eyes of God. I, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena-Boafo, have been taking part in a campaign organized by the Global Freedom Network, which is the faith-based arm of Walk Free, an international human rights organization which was set up to eradicate modern forms of slavery. There are these posters. They will be distributed to all the dioceses everywhere in our connection, so that we will talk about this crime which is among us, within us, and with us. With this new campaign in place of worship, including all our societies and chapels, we have redesigned the poster to display messages about forced marriages and forced labor. Dearly beloved, if you are in a situation like what I have described, human trafficking, forced marriage, forced labor, or if you know of somebody who might be in danger, please come and talk to me or talk to any of our ministers in the connection. Ministers will be trained to handle these cases confidentially. Please do not try to take the law into your own hands. This can increase the danger to victims. Please come and talk to us instead, and we can work out a plan together to free people out of this crime.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sheikh Armiya of Shuaib. I'm the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam and the principal Imam for the Dar es Salaam Masjid here in the airport reserved area. This is a humanitarian program where we want to work hard to restore the dignity of people who have been so reduced through this callous and wicked practice of new kind of modern slavery, which is subjecting young girls and children to some of the very so debasing kind of practice, making them like slaves, taking away from them their freedom, their dignity, through forced marriage, through forced labor, like some of the one that we see, even including those who establish what we call baby factories, where young girls are compelled to be impregnated, and so they give birth to children, and children can be taken away from them. All these are very dehumanizing, and so out of compassion and the spirit of humanitarianism, we are all part of this campaign to ensure that we rid our communities of this kind of modern slavery in the form of forced marriage and then forced labor, through which we exploit energies of people, and we take away from them their dignity. I want to call on all of us to be part of this campaign. If you see any person who is so vulnerable, and due to his vulnerability, he can be so reduced into this kind of modern slavery, draw our attention to it, and we will take the process, steps to ensure that we save that person, whether a boy or a girl, in Ghana, outside of Ghana, and anywhere across the world. Let's all join the campaign and eradicate modern-day slavery. Thank you so much.
My name is Imam Saeed Mukhtar Abu Bakr, and of course I'm here at the premises of the Dar es Salaam Mosque. Today the sermon discussed the topic of modern slavery and how the Global Freedom Network is undertaking a campaign to eradicate that form of slavery, and particularly with regards to the forced marriage and as well as the forced labor. And we as faith leaders, of course, in the wisdom of the organization itself, have been brought in to also be part of the campaign, and I think it is a very laudable thing to do. And we as Muslim clerics and leaders have vowed to be part of the campaign to eradicate this cancer in our society. And we have also mentioned a lot of the quotations from the glorious Quran, as well as the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that says that all humans are created equal. Therefore, there is no difference between Arab and non-Arab, and there's no difference between a black and a white. There's no difference between a rich and a poor when it comes to the matter of being human. Therefore, this campaign eradicating modern slavery is a laudable one, and every human being needs to be part of it. It should not be left for the government alone, but every individual who has learned or who has about this particular thing